There we go. Let's get Facebook in here and we can get it going on this Tuesday, Victory Tuesday, following the Broncos' victory of the Chiefs. And there we go. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. It's Tuesday evening. It's time for an episode of Building the Broncos. I am Nick Kendell, joined by Carl Dumler once again. Carl, man, we're in a weird spot here. You and I are not used to covering this team being good. And right now, it's not only like we're going to talk a little bit of playoff picture and everything today, but it's like, what scenarios do we have to watch to like see how they can get in? Who do we need to be pulling against? Like, what are the tiebreakers? I mean, that's still going to matter, but we're talking about that for the number one overall seed in the AFC, not Denver squeaking in to the playoffs. What a journey it's been. Now, I don't want to say, oh man, we've gone through the desert and blah, 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 because Scott's in the background here. And if Broncos have gone through a desert, then I don't know what Falcons fans have gone through. But regardless, it's been a long time, and we're obviously not on the mountaintop, but we reached a mountain pass in the very least. I'm going to work in some hiking, mountaineering words for you guys. Beating the Chiefs, 9-2 on the bye week. I'm just happy as hell to be here right now. I'm going to be honest. I'm just happy to be here. How are you doing, Carl?
Yeah, I'm great. You know, my dad stopped by my office earlier, and he was in orange. I'm wearing orange today, and I'm like, yep, I've worn orange every single day. I mean, I know it's only been 2 days, but I live in Chiefs Kingdom or whatever you want to call it. And I had a lot of people talking crap to me all week. And so I've been able to walk around town, big smile on my face, and definitely some people that are very upset. My dad wore a Broncos shirt to his breakfast group, and they about kicked him out because they were so angry. And I mean, it's one of those, they're sore losers. Chiefs haven't lost a lot lately. So
that's how like all the big college programs are, right? Like if Alabama loses a game, fire everybody, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I even saw some people like Andy Reid's got to go, Spagnola's got to go, all those kind of things. And I'm just like, man, you guys have been living in a dream world for way too long. You got to understand that this is the ebbs and flows of football. There's going to be times where you're up and other times you're down. And talking about up, we got Papa Bear coming in saying, good evening, Broncos country, #13-4. David, you are looking like a prophet more and more every single week that the Broncos continue to win, especially when they were 1-2 and you were still like 13-4. And like, I know Nick and I were like,
I would have given you unbelievable odds, and you would have taken me to the cleaners. So shout out to you, Papa Bear. Shout out to you regardless, but keeping the faith. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I didn't see this coming this season. Like, we had a lot of questions. So, like, I thought the defense would be good. I expected some sack regression. That doesn't seem to be happening. Still question marks about Bo Nix. I expected maybe injuries, offensive line. I mean, if you'd have told me after the Eagles game they're going to lose Powers for a while, I'm like, uh-oh. The offensive line, like, what's going to happen now? Palczewski, no. Not a good game against the Chiefs. We'll just call it as it is. But the shout out to the coaching staff, the players. I mean, this is a well-run program right now. And that's the bottom line. From ownership, general manager, coaching staff, the people they're bringing in drafting, signing for the locker room. I think I've said on this show before, Carl, but like, it's a sight to behold when it feels like everybody's pulling in the same direction, like actually united in orange. And this team is that right now. And I mean, again, I'm not typically one to glaze and everything's sunshine and rainbows all the time, and I'm not saying this team's going to the Super Bowl, like by any means, but this is a remarkable turnaround for this franchise, and to beat the Chiefs. And I don't even care that they're 5-5. Like, the advanced statistics say that's a good Chiefs team. Like, they're getting bad luck right now. Screw them. Couldn't happen to a better team. But that's an accomplishment for the Broncos. So to sit here at 9-2, AFC wide open, anything could happen. Anything can happen from here on out.
Oh, for sure. It was a very quality win, no matter the record. They had everything going in their favor. Like I said, the analytics will tell you that the Chiefs are a top 5 team.
Yeah. Their defense is not as good as their basic stats say, but their offense, this is one of their best offenses they've had since 2017, 2018, like points per drive, especially when Rice has been back. So sorry to interrupt, but like they're good. Like, in Denver beat them. It was not a fluke. They beat them.
Right. And it could have been even much worse if red zone touchdowns would have came through, and a couple other things broke their way. But
Riley Moss.
It was. Yeah, flags. Riley Moss not giving up 100 yards and penalties. But still, beyond all that, I mean, it's just such a good feeling to see this team. And like I said, it's new territory for us. I'll tell you, I have not been a humble winner. Like I said, I've been walking around town, making sure people remember that the Broncos are on top right now. And it's just a team, like I said, they bought in. You could tell even after the game, like, as much as players like to say that they shut out all the noise from media and fans and everything else, but then right after the game, they're like, "Oh, of you media people and talking crap about our quarterback and
Dragon Slayer 69 from Adam Troutman,
all that kind of stuff."
How'd he get my handle?
Yeah, but you could tell like this was personal for them. That these are people that they love. They care about their teammates. It's not just a paycheck. It's hey, we really do. We're united. Sean Payton has just done a great job building this locker room. George Payton as well, finding the right kind of guys to come in, be real leaders. And I mean, even like Singleton, I know we've harped on him for some of his play, but that guy's a great leader. I mean, even seeing him on the sideline, like he was sitting there trying to coach guys up and, hey, they're going to try this. And he's right in the middle of that. And here he is fighting cancer. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep helping my team. He could have told the team, hey, I'm going to take a week away, go be with my family.
He's got a young daughter too, I think, too.
Right. Yeah. And he's like, nope, I'm going to be there for my team. And so shout out to all those guys being united like this. And Phil coming in, being united with us, saying, good evening, Nick, Carl, and Deacon Scott. Really great to see how we look when all three phases play a complete game. Hashtag Buckham. Yeah. Special teams.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that was the best unit for the Broncos all game. They put points on the board. They took points away from the Chiefs.
Yeah. Holding Mahomes to 19 points without Patrick Surtain. I'm grading on the curve there, but like, wow.
I do agree.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a little bit because special teams has been so bad.
Yeah.
That to see them actually be a very big positive for this team was such a sigh of relief. I mean, Marvin Mims being back, you can tell there's a huge difference on punt returns and
shout out to Frank Crum about that. Frank Crum block.
Yeah, that was a great play by him. I mean, he got low, went right through two guys, used his 6'8" frame to where he's up, and that changed. It really did change the entire dynamic of the game. Mm-hmm. Being down 3 instead of 4, it changes how you have to call the rest of your game. And so big play for him. Crawshaw had a really nice bounce back game. Almost had that one. It's a good thing he was punting that to the right. If he was punting it straight on, that would have been blocked. Yeah. But, then of course, Lutz 5 for 5 with a 50+ yarder to tie it up. I mean, all those kind of things. It was a great team win. Yeah. That was maybe one of the best games that we've seen from Bo Nix. I know we've seen some 4 touchdown games and stuff like that, but there were things in this game that he hasn't done so far in his Broncos career.
Yeah.
At least consistently. Of going through his reads, staying in the pocket, keeping his feet below him, not just, I mean, a lot of times you see his feet, it's kind of like a duck under, on the surface, it kind of looks good, but his feet are just going 1,000 miles an hour underneath the water.
Flippers.
Sometimes it's how you feel about Bo Nix. You're like, oh man, this guy is way too sped up. This game, no, it looked like he was very calm, cool, going through his reads. Like I said, 1, 2, 3. I think it was either Sutton or Bryant. I can't remember, on like a 3rd and 8 early in the game. And it was a crosser across the middle. And it was probably his 3rd read. Like you could tell he went 1, 2, 3. And it was a perfect throw. Big first down, kept a drive alive. Like I said, those are things we haven't seen, at least in a few weeks, for sure. But he consistently went through reads in this one and stayed in the pocket. I can't talk enough of how big of a difference this was. The Raiders game might have been one of his worst ever. Mm-hmm. This might have been one of his best ever games. And there's still room for improvement.
Yeah. Sorry, I think he's coming upstairs here. I can think of some games that were not so that were good, but he had like such a terrible defense on the other side that it's like, how he handled the Dallas game this year, the Cincinnati game this year, and I think too, Scott, plug yours, but the Falcons game last season, also the Panthers game last season, like it looked like he was throwing 7-on-7s in those games. And in this one, there was a much more resistance from the opposing team. Now, granted, Spags likes to be blitz heavy, a lot of cover zero, a lot of man, and Bo Nix has beat man coverage a lot better. So I was actually thinking Spags would come into this one and maybe play a little bit more zone with the bye week coming in. Rush 3, I think that's areas where Bo Nix struggles more. Disguised coverages, didn't get that as much. Honestly, I'm surprised from Spags on that one. But overall, Nix had a good game, and it was definitely, when you're grading against the opponent, his best game of his career so far. So was really happy to see that. I did want to say hello to our favorite Dragon Slayer coming through here. Dragon Slayer 69 with the Slurpee picture as well. God bless us. But Adam Chapman set him straight. That's great to see. Great to see. Did want to say hello again. Shout out to Phil. Thank you so much for the super chat. If you guys want to get anything in here, say hello. Make sure you drop a super chat. We always get to those. We got Denver Luke in the house. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. God bless. Jordan Lewis, a member. Thank you, Jordan. He says, evening, fellas. Good to see you. We got Casey Nickel coming in. I think it was Casey earlier that asked about the Broncos on Twitter to me. So we can ask this now, Carl, because I had a quick answer, and I think it'll probably be the same. Odell Beckham Jr. is available now. He served a suspension. He's been reinstated. How do you feel about adding that dynamic to the locker room?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah. I think the Broncos, here's what I'll say about their wide receiver group. I think they like him. I don't think they love him. You know, you've seen there was news that they tried to get Stephon Diggs into the building, which questioning whether that would have been a good idea. Maybe that falling apart and him going to the Patriots, which, I mean, he's been great for the Patriots.
They're airing it out, though.
Yeah. And I do wonder how he would do as a dynamic here in Denver.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we saw at the trade deadline, Broncos were looking at some wide receivers, and they weren't willing to go all in, like, we have to make this kind of move. But again, I think it shows that they like their guys, but they also see that they could have an upgrade at the position and it helped their team. And Odell Beckham Jr., I don't know that he at this point in his career is an actual upgrade talent-wise on the field compared to the guys we already have and the chemistry that they have with Bo Nix. And these guys they're all bought in. So I wouldn't really want to throw a wrench into that dynamic and Odell come in and be like, hey, I need my touches, and then that throw off anything good that the offense could be building right now.
Yeah. I mean, ship sailed for those. I mean, if he played running back, maybe, because we might be a little desperate there. But it's no Odell Beckham for me. And Odell Beckham, I do actually have a little bit of an interesting take. At least I think it is on this one. I don't think it's so much exactly the wide receiver room that the Broncos have been interested in upgrading. I think Sean Payton is the father, grandfather, whatever you want to say, the godfather of the positionless football. And I don't think he cares so much about wide receiver. Like if there was a bunch of tight ends available, he'd have gone after a tight end. If Dobbins was hurt, he'd gone after running back too. But I think it's more so finding another weapon that you can utilize that's a little bit higher up in the pecking order. I think ideally, if everything was equal, sorry, Troutman, the Dragon Slayer 69 take here, but like they'd find a Y tight end who could upgrade that position, but those guys weren't available. So there's more wide receivers available. We're looking to get some sort of wide receiver in here just to add a little bit more explosiveness, dynamism to the offense, the pass offense specifically. Didn't materialize, but we'll keep an eye. I'm expecting the Broncos to sign a running back this offseason. They'll probably also make a move at weapon. I don't think it necessarily has to be wide receiver, though. It could be tight end, especially with how Ingram's contract is very easy to move on from after the season.
Well, and he's barely, in just a couple games, been up to 50% of snaps on offense. Mm-hmm. So they're recognizing there's some limitations there of what you can do with him, that when he's on the field, teams get that cue of it's probably a pass play if Ingram's on the field. And you'd really love to have that tight end that doesn't give that key away. Could we be running it? Could we be passing it? Get a George Kittle. I mean, it'd be great if we would have drafted him instead of Jake Butt. And then we'd be really set as a team looking forward. But we got Jamal Killings coming in saying, hello, Broncos country. Hello to you as well. Great to see you. And great having all of you guys here tonight. And Phil saying, by the end of the season, who's going to be the number 2 receiver? I would love for it to be Pat Bryant. But right now it does seem like they are leaning still towards Troy Franklin. Troy, his hands are not great, but he does get open. Mm-hmm. That's the big thing. They're doubling Cortland Sutton. So you need your number 2 that can get open consistently. And so far, Troy Franklin has done a pretty good job that way. Yes, he's got to catch these passes. I know the deep pass early in the game was a tough one, but that was a catchable ball. And that maybe changes the whole dynamic of how you start that game. I know they got a field goal, which was great, but maybe that just takes the complete air out of the Chiefs going, oh, crap. Now they're hitting the deep ball, and we don't got a chance. And, of course, the drop later on a big third down that would have kept a drive going. Both of them were tough catches. But you're an NFL receiver. You should be coming down at least with one of those. Maybe not both, but at least one. And it's the way I describe Troy Franklin is it reminds me of the movie Happy Gilmore, where his girlfriend shows up and they're talking through the little speaker and she's breaking up with him. And at one point he's yelling, "Good, I don't want you anymore." And the next moment he's coming, "I'm sorry, baby." Because then he makes a great catch later in the game. You're going, okay, yeah, thank you, Troy Franklin, for making the catch. And it just, I wish we didn't have quite that inconsistent play from him. Now, like I said, I'd love for it to be Pat Bryant because he is the more consistent receiver. I just think as a rookie, there's been some plays where you can see he doesn't quite know what he's doing yet. He'll get there. And I have no doubt he'll be a really productive player for us moving forward. But I think Troy Franklin knows the offense a little bit better.
By volume, it'll be Franklin. By efficiency, it'll be Bryant. Coming out of the bye week, though, things can change. Things can shake up, but they kept going back to the Franklin.
Back in it.
Exactly. He seems to be more gadget usage right now in the pecking order, but they got to figure out something out of the backfield. And maybe it's not necessarily running back, but screen game, running back, quick pass. 10 personnel. I don't know. But good question. Yeah, I would say it'll probably be Franklin just because what the data and everything that we've seen from them so far is, and they're going to give Franklin opportunities. And it's very frustrating because, like you mentioned, he had that really awesome like beating press coverage against Christian Fulton on one of those plays. He just made Fulton look, laughable with this technique on that one. And he has been getting open. He's just, the ball skills are so erratic and the contested catches have not really been there. And he's a slender player, but you wish he just wish he didn't fight the ball so much. I did like on that last play, though, he didn't go to alligator arms or like catching it with his body. He's still going out there and trying to use his hands. So youngest player on the team, I think, as well. He's talented. I'm so skeptical that he'll be like a quality wide receiver too. I think he's probably more of a high-end 3, which you want 3 or 4 guys anyways. That's not like for a 4th round pick. That's great. Good ROI. But we'll see. It's definitely an area. Weaponry in general is an area the Broncos on paper right now probably addressing this offseason, but we need to see what happens with the lines of scrimmage first and foremost, because that is the identity of the team. And you guys like being 9-2? It'd be nice to be, have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but I think I'd rather have the best trenches on both sides of the ball and keep winning football games personally.
I think the best case for that is looking at the Raiders, taking Ashton Genty, and he has been nothing so far this year. Mm-hmm. Top 10 pick at running back, and he's a great player. Yeah, he's a great player, and yet because the offensive line is so bad, you can't do anything with him.
I mean, even Bowers this year, right? He had that one awesome game. He's had injuries, but like no shows sometimes. Like we've said it on here before. If you stalemate along the trenches, along the lines of scrimmage, then the perimeter players, they're the tiebreakers. But if you're that bad on the offensive line, on the defensive line, I don't give a flying who you have on the outside. You're going to lose the football game.
Yeah. I mean, Geno Smith, not that I'm saying that he's a top 10 quarterback, but he was playing pretty good football till he got to the Raiders.
Yeah.
I don't think he fell off that much. I think it's just he went to such a bad situation where now he's feeling ghosts behind him. Mm-hmm. To take from Sam Darnold of earlier in his career when he was with the Jets. And once you start feeling that, I mean, your clock gets sped up. You're making quicker decisions than you should have. Things are not being read right. And it just, you can't play quarterback in that kind of way. And I even think a little bit of that, you were talking about the defense earlier, that they deserve all the credit. They did a great job of hitting Mahomes and hitting him hard. Mm-hmm. Like, I know Aqib Talib always talked about that right before the Super Bowl. He's like, I'm going to go get myself a personal foul penalty so that the Panthers know we're here. And I look at, there was one hit early in the game on Patrick Mahomes where I think it was Justin Cernod tackling from the front, and Bonito came and just crunched him from behind. And it almost got Cernod hurt. Like, he kind of was shooken up for a second, and then he stood up and was fine. And then there's a hit later on by Zach Allen where Mahomes stayed on the ground for a little bit. I kept kind of grabbing at his leg and was looking at the refs like, you just let him hit me like that? And you could tell like Mahomes was a little sped up in this game. There were some throws that he was missing that he probably doesn't usually miss, or the pick six decision. Like, who was he throwing that to? It was a receiver running deep, but I mean, it was one of the worst decisions I've seen Mahomes make in a game. And so I really do think it was a little bit of that, of him just taking some hits that he doesn't usually take and being like, oh crap, this kind of hurts. I got to get this ball out a little bit quicker. And it just led to the Broncos having a really good game against him. I know he got a lot of yards, but it just was a lot of dink and dunk. That's all they could do.
And I want to give the Broncos credit as well. Something that's so hard to do with Mahomes is to keep him contained in the pocket. And I didn't feel one play where he felt dangerous outside of structure in this one. And the one time he did do it, he threw that pick to Jaquan McMillan. It was just, so, I mean, shout out to them. Vance Joseph's gone. I think we can all agree probably about that. He's going to get a coach cycle. Good for head coaching gig this cycle. Good for him. I know some fans I've seen on Twitter like, oh, we're the richest owners. Can't we just pay him? Like, read any of the interviews with Vance Joseph. Listen to anybody who knows him. He wants that opportunity. He deserves the opportunity. Right. And we'll see what happens to the Broncos. These are good problems. It's the curse of success, I think is what it's called. When you are good, you're going to be picking late, and people are going to raid your staff and your players. Figure it out. That's why you want a good head coach and quarterback. Those are the stability pieces for you. Bronco for life. Good to see you. We got Ernie Mays in the house. Gary Neighbors. Great to see you. Chase Wellner. Go you, Chase. Appreciate you. Pro 16. We got Doug. Even if Kansas City beats Indy, they still might not make the playoffs. We need number 1 seed. So let's hope the Chiefs win. I think the Broncos win out. We get the 1 seed too. The Broncos, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to come down actually, Carl, because if the Broncos and Colts both went out, Colts have the tiebreaker. They have the head-to-head. That's what matters. If it's a 3-way tie, I think it's conference record, and I think the Broncos then might get the 3 seed. But these teams, I don't expect any of these teams to win out at the end. But it's right now it's a 3-team race with the Patriots, who have just an unbelievably laughable schedule. They've already had a laughable schedule, but it's continues to be bad going forward. And then the Colts, who have some tough games, and this Chiefs-Indy game is going to be must-see TV. I'm going to see it. It's a win-win. No matter what one of these teams gets to lose, great. I'll take the results either way.
I still lean towards I'd rather see the Chiefs lose. Just one, it's the Chiefs. I want to see them lose every game, of course. And seeing them at 5-6 and really squandering. Plus, the rest of their schedule doesn't look too daunting. They got a Chargers game, but it's at home. They've got the Broncos game at home. I think they've got maybe 2 left against the Raiders and then 1 against the Raiders. That's not a tough schedule. Other than playing us. Yeah. Chargers are a very up and down team. I don't know what to expect from them week to week. One week they look great against Minnesota. This last week against the Jags, they look like a 2-win team.
Yeah.
And so I just don't trust them to be a tough game for the Chiefs at this point. So, yes, I'd rather see the Chiefs lose this one. At that point, it really is, unless Chargers go on some crazy run, pretty much the division is the Broncos. And I'd rather for sure secure the division and then worry about the number 1 seed as we go through and figure out games. And like I said, I don't expect Indy to win every single game. They've got a tough closing schedule. They're going to maybe struggle in a game or 2 of those.
What's weird about all of this is that the way it's setting up right now, if you're talking tiers of quarterbacks, and Mahomes didn't have a good game, but he's still, he's still Mahomes. best 3 quarterbacks in football might be entering wild card spots of the last 3 years. So you got Lamar Jackson, although if they get it, they're probably winning the division rather than a wild card, because who's buying the Steelers right now? Lord knows I'm not. Then you have Josh Allen. I mean, I think that's the week of the Packers game, but I think you have Bills, New England. That's going to be a huge game. But Josh Allen coming first round to Denver if they didn't get the 1 seed. I mean, it is what it is, right? In Denver, it's kind of a movable force versus a stoppable object with the way Broncos run game looked. 1 game sample size, but without Dobbins versus the Bills run defense. But and then you have, of course, Mahomes as well. So it's a weird AFC this season, because your usual suspects have flaws, and maybe that's just the reality of the highly paid quarterback and variance year to year that you're going to have in general. Maybe the messaging in some of these programs getting stale. Sean McDermott, looking at you, buddy. But we'll see. But yeah, good to see Albert Knoppers. Love it. He says Riley Moss, one of the greatest cornerbacks in the league. A lot of penalties against him are bogus. Do not call for others. I don't know about one of the greatest cornerbacks in the league, but he's definitely, I think, disproportionately called against for things that you could see on 1 out of every 3 pass plays that you don't typically see. Every single thing that's a judgment call seems to go against him. It's the Garrett Bowles effect right now. Oh man, you're doing everything right. Just don't grab. Just flat hands, man. What are you doing? So I think we're close. Yeah. Denver is not going to probably give up on him. I think if Surtain gotten hurt, maybe you bench him to send a message, but you watch them. Moss is in phase a lot better than Chris Abrams' drain is. They're not using Barron that way. If it keeps being an issue, there probably has to be a conversation, because if you're still doing the penalties, I mean, it's hurting the team. But the process, as far as from the feet up, looks good. So they're going to stick with him. I don't know about the greatest cornerback in the league, but rookie contract cornerback too, for the way the defense is playing right now. People are focused on it because the defense doesn't have much to complain about right now.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the entire offense for the Chiefs, was throw it deep and hope that Bradley Moss gets a penalty. And I mean, other than the 1 explosive play, I think that was against Chris Abrams' drain, where it was a push off.
That was against McMillan.
McMillan. You're right. Yeah, that's right. And otherwise, they really didn't have a whole lot going for them in this one. I guess Kelsey touchdown, I don't know, just missed tackle, missed opportunity. They were going to break through at some point anyway. And like I said, holding that offense to 19 points, really, other than penalties, defense playing lights out. It's kind of amazing. The Broncos pretty much dared them to run, and then they were like, nope, we're not going to run the football. And they were actually running with success. Yeah, that's the part that you're going, I mean, and Andy Reid and Sean Payton both do this. Yeah. They can't stand running the ball the entire game. Even if it's being successful, they have to get that pass game going.
It's because of the explosives, though. I think at the end of the day, the Chiefs defense isn't good enough to live with the game being shortened so much to take away possessions from Mahomes. And while Hunt has been successful, they're one of the most successful, least explosive, success rate versus explosive play rate rush games in 20 years or something. So in the run game, you obviously want them to be down successful, but you need to be able to hit some doubles and some home runs now and again, because at the end of the day, I mean, I think shout out to Brian Billick. He came out with the statistic, which was a toxicity, which is your explosive plays and your turnovers. Pretty freaking indicative of who's going to win the football game. And Chiefs just not able at all to hit the explosives with the ground game. So I understand the dilemma that they have. And if they had a top 3 defense, I think you can live that way. But they don't. It's got to be Mahomes, and they had the plays drawn up. I mean, let's be real. Mahomes had a bad game. There were guys, the first couple drives, Mahomes sometimes hits those ones. Didn't have it. Shout out to the Broncos. Shout out to the fans as well. Maybe it was the altitude getting down a little bit more air in the ball. I don't know. But they just don't have any explosiveness of the run game. And it's one thing that makes me just mind blown, perplexed. Why wouldn't they give up a third for Breece Hall? Right? Just totally change the dynamic of their offense. Thank God they didn't. But they're just, I don't know. They're so plotting with the run game that I kind of understand why they would go away from it.
Yeah, I get it to a point. There's some plays, you have a 3rd and 1, and instead of just handing it off, getting the first down, moving to the next instead of, they decide to pass it. Broncos get a sack. And all of a sudden the drive is stalled. It's kind of like last game against the Raiders where the Broncos had 3rd and 1 and they decided to run a trick play instead of and the run game was working. And there's just times where I wish you just take the simple route. Like, hey, this is working. Just stick with it for at least this part. Let's just pick up the first down, move on to the next set of downs and see what we can do. And I will say, yes, the Broncos run game was terrible, but the one place that it was really successful was on those 2nd and 3rd and shorts. RJ Harvey did a really good job of picking up those kind of plays. I was actually very impressed with him on those runs. It's the down to down runs that he's got to figure out. And there was a couple times it was almost like he was so cued in on running up between the tackles that he missed a couple times where there was a lane to the outside that could have been an explosive play. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that there's been just times where he almost takes coaching to an extreme, where in the preseason, he had a time where the very first game, everything was bounced outside. And so the very next game, it was everything up the middle. And I just felt like he almost took the coaching and like, hey, you've got to be able to run through the tackles. He's like, okay, every time this is where I'm going to stick to. And there's just got to be that ability to understand, yes, we need you to get north and south sometimes, but we brought you in because you are an explosive player and we need you to be you.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping he can figure it out. I don't think it's ever going to be perfect or great where he's going to be an every down running back for you. But I think he can get to a more consistent level. I mean, the Broncos need it. If he doesn't get there, we're not going to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. You have to at least have a little bit of a run game threat.
When your defense and your offensive line is this good and you have Sean Payton, you have a chance in every game. Now, the odds of stringing those games together, especially with the ride we've seen with the quarterback position, wouldn't bet on it. Carl would not bet on it, but I won't discount them. Feel like I've done that this season, and they're on a run right now. So, I mean, especially the AFC playoff picture. I did run through the playoff machine, Carl. It looks like if the Broncos, Chiefs, and Colts win out the rest of their games, Colts have the tiebreaker. Colts would get the 1st seed. Broncos 2nd seed, and the Patriots the 3rd seed. But we'll see. I mean, those are your 3 teams right now. Patriots do also play at the Ravens later in the season as well, although the Ravens pass rush is like one of the worst in football this season. They're like only at 15 sacks on the year. So how they have fallen. Of course, as soon as they trade Oweh to the Chargers, he gets like 5 sacks in 3 games or something. But we got Daniel Berry Sports coming in here. Yo, great to see you. We got Pearl coming in saying, hi, I'm trying to get the old feedback. Don't know what's going on there, Pearl, but I don't know if you're talking because we're the vertical or something. I don't know, but hopefully you're enjoying the show. Greg Smith in the house. Great to see you. You got Nathan Morgan in the house. Says, go Broncos. Absolutely. Ralph says, is KC still alive? Until they're mathematically eliminated, they're still alive. So they can go on a run here, obviously. And it's crazy. A lot of their advanced stats say they're a better team than last year. They just aren't getting the 1-score luck. And, that can tend to regress pretty drastically, kind of like we've seen here. I think they're 5-5. They're 0-5 in 1-score games. All their wins are big games, or big wins. So we'll see. If they lose to the Colts, though, I mean, I don't know, man. That's probably too tight of a rope.
I think that the nice thing is they have lost the games that they needed to win. The teams that are in the 3, 4, 5 or the 5, 6, 7 spot with the Bills, the Ravens. I guess they won against the Ravens. Who else did they? Oh, Jaguars,
the Jags, the Bills, and the Chargers right now.
Yeah, and Chargers. Yeah, so
and they have
they don't have those
too. Who is another tough team. I mean, we'll see what happens to the Texans, but that's another wild card potential team. Right.
And so they don't have the tiebreakers. If they had the tiebreakers, you'd be like, okay, probably Chiefs are making the playoffs, but they're going to have a really tough because it's an extra game behind those teams because of those tiebreakers. And we got Glenn Ashley coming in saying, good morning, Nick and Carl in Broncos country. Shout out to special teams, Crumbs blocked kick, big Nuts Lutz, and Crawshaw making big plays in conjunction with Mims. Improved footwork from Nix. And what do you know? More Bryant targets means more efficiency. All true. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I love that game by Pat Bryant. I love the way that they were trying to get him a little bit more involved in the passing game on top of him helping in the run game as much as he possibly could in this one. it was a truly great team win. You saw a lot of guys really take a step up from what they had been playing on offense, at least, especially. Defense has been the same. It's been consistent throughout the entire year. But special teams and offense taking that step is what won us this game. I knew there's a really good chance the defense was going to hold the Chiefs to 19 points or less. That's what Vance Joseph has been able to do against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid for a lot of years now. He's been one of the better defensive coordinators of slowing down their offense. But it was a matter of, did I think our offense could score and special teams help out too? Did I think that they could get to 20 plus? I was a little worried about that. After you could only put up 10 against the Raiders at home, yeah, that makes you a little nervous. But not nervous is David T coming in saying, "Hi, Nick, Carl, and Broncos country. Question from my hospital bed. They just stuck me with an IV. Will they be playing Bryant more now that he's balling? I hope everything turns out okay for you, David, whatever's going on."
Goodness.
But appreciate you. Hopefully we're a little bit of a distraction while they're getting all those needles into you. I know I always need a distraction when that's going on. But I do. I think they're going to try to get Bryant a little bit more involved. He's proven each week a little bit more that he can be trusted. And I love Pat Bryant has been this way from the get-go coming here to Denver. He's pretty much said, like, I've got to do the blocking to get the rock. I can't remember how exactly he worded it. I got to block to get the rock.
No block, no rock.
Yeah, no block, no rock. And he's been that way. Like, he has been huge in the run game. And now he's seeing the fruits of being able to be a part of the pass game too. And he's had the most consistent hands for the Broncos. I can't think of a time where he's put the ball on the ground yet.
He's had a couple of double catches, but I don't think it's actually hit the turf.
Right. So everybody knock on wood that doesn't change moving forward. But and the other big thing for him is just, like I said, there was plays earlier in the season. You could tell he wasn't always for sure exactly what he was supposed to be doing. And that happens for rookies. Going from a college playbook to an NFL playbook, it's a whole new language. And it takes a long time for rookies to kind of get all that down, everything they're supposed to be doing, the option routes, the changing of the plays at the line of scrimmage to know what exactly you're supposed to be doing, all that kind of stuff. And he's getting there. You can see his confidence is building by the week. So I do expect a lot more snaps for him moving forward.
I do expect more snaps. That said, I feel like they have an okay rotation going. I mean, I guess you're taking Franklin off the field there, but he offers something that Bryant doesn't, right? So, like, I don't know how you want to lose the vertical element that Franklin brings. I mean, he's been utilized a lot as the pre-snap motion guy as well. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think the solution is going more 10 personnel, also, or with 4 wide receivers. So we'll see, but hopefully it's just more efficient when he's out there. And that comes more on the quarterback in the pass game in general. Like, when he's out there, take advantage of it, because he's been out there a good bit still. It's just, finding him in the route progression or throwing it when he's open. So we'll see. And shout out to David. Hope you're doing well, feeling better, and everything is okay with you health-wise with everything going on. So appreciate you coming in here. Other than that, Carl, obviously we're going to start wrapping up here pretty soon. The playoff picture. Broncos haven't won the AFC West yet. Are you at all nervous about the Chargers? Obviously, they had that terrible game against the Jags, but Denver in the last 3 games has not beaten Jim Harbaugh-led Chargers. They seem to have their number. Sean Payton losing them as well. So, I mean, are we discounting the Chargers right now? Because Harbaugh's beating them pretty well. Herbert plays well against them. I know their offensive line is dreadful, but Denver kind of has a secret Jim Harbaugh monkey on their back.
I guess I'm not as worried just because of the 3 still in the AFC West. I do think that they have the hardest remaining schedule. Their next game is against Las Vegas, so they should win that one at home. But then you've got Philadelphia coming into town. That's going to be a rough one for them with that offensive line against that defensive line. You got at Kansas City, at Dallas, and then at Denver, and Houston in there too, where Houston comes to town. And so they've got some really tough defensive lines. That's where you've seen the struggle. Jacksonville this last week, they lived in that backfield. I mean, they had some plays where it's almost taking the offensive lineman back into the quarterback, grabbing both and tackling them to the ground on a couple plays. And so I do think the teams, like I'm probably less worried about the Chargers than I am about the Chiefs. I know we just beat the Chiefs, but it would not shock me one bit if the Chiefs went on a run and won out. Mm-hmm. I really would not be shocked by that. It also wouldn't shock me if they ended the year 9-8. I just don't know what to expect from the Chiefs, and it's hard for me with how well they've been able to play over the years, and Patrick Mahomes and what he brings to the table. And like I said, the offense has been great this year, and they're not far off. It's not like they've been losing big when they've lost. They've been a lot of very close games for them. So you're right. I might be discounting the Chargers just a little bit, but they're not a team that makes me jump out of my chair going, oh crap, they're only a couple games behind us right now.
I'm very happy that Denver gets them at home for the last game, if that one matters. Broncos country will show up, be rocking. Maybe I'll get a ticket. I don't know. It might be on my son's birthday, so that probably would be frowned upon. But we do have a really important question here from Esquire Send Toes. For Super Chat, I will. Most important Roman invention. Off the top of my head, I would just say automatically aqueducts, Carl, like transporting water to the city. I know Roman roads were a big deal as well, and I think with all those, you had concrete. But I would say aqueducts.
I would go concrete.
Concrete. Okay.
I mean, it's been, I mean, you can look anywhere and everywhere, and it seems like concrete. You've probably got concrete in your house right there.
Yeah.
I've probably got concrete behind me here. So I do think that's been big. We've got David T saying, thanks, Nick. This was planned procedure. They're going to deposit a stent in my liver. Entry is jugular. And well, hoping it all goes well. Stent works well. And that you can be on a road to recovery, man.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Christopher Pickens says Moss is 9th in pass defended. He's awesome. Yeah, I know with like the passes defended and the attempts and everything, like they don't, for a lot of the basic counting stats, they don't include the penalties, which they probably should. And penalties are probably worse than giving up the catch, because like the catch, the guy still has to make the play if you're in good position, right? Like they're not catching the 40-yard pass every time, where if you do the penalty, every time they're getting it. So like EPA does equate for those. So if you look at that kind of stuff, it does bring Moss down, but he's been targeted a lot. And some of it is, the cost of doing business for the Broncos playing very aggressive up front and playing man coverage on the back end. You're going to have to live with a little bit more penalties. Regardless, though, he's going to have to clean it up. And I'm a big Riley Moss fan. Like, go Hawks. Love the kid. I remember his true freshman game against Purdue where they just picked on him over and over again. Like, who's this trash player? True freshman, blue shirt? What the heck? No, he's decent cornerback. I don't think he's a superstar, but there's definitely worse cornerback twos. And the fact that he's been functioning as a cornerback one and the defense has still been this good is awesome. Testament to him, testament to the defense as a whole. Jim Piercing, go Broncos. I don't know if we got that one already. Great to see you. Appreciate you. We got Chiefs Dynasty coming in here. I don't know about that, but you guys aren't dead yet. That's true. Justin says the White Shadow, Riley Moss, and David T. Last thing we want to get into here, Carl, before we close it up, kind of talking about the running back position. What's the pecking order going to be here going forward? This is a room that is concerning after one game. Now, granted, you got the bye week to kind of figure it out. Is the three that we saw going to be the trio the rest of the season? Are they going to scoop somebody off of a practice squad? I know there's been some, like, I don't know if they're jokes or not, but I think, oh man, sorry, Mike. He says doesn't like the format here. Sorry, Mike. Can't watch on the television. Hopefully you can do both. We'll take that to heart, but love you, Mike. I think they're going to have to bring in somebody else, Carl, all the same, but I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with the running back position. Because right now, one game, but right now, not a good looking room.
Yeah. And I'm just not sure that there's anybody that you can bring in that's going to change how you feel about this room. Yeah. You can't trade. Unfortunately, this injury happened at the worst time possible, where you just missed the trade deadline and you could have maybe thought of making that kind of trade. And maybe all of a sudden you're like, oh, that third round for Breece Hall. Yep. I'll go ahead and do that. and then you've got yourself a decent all-around kind of guy. I mean, there's some okay names out there. I know I've seen some people be like, hey, I wonder if Sean Payton can talk Latavius Murray of coming out of retirement. That's not going to make me jump out of my chair for sure. And I just hope that, like I said, maybe RJ Harvey can get a couple things figured out. McLaughlin, I thought he ran pretty well. It's not going to be great by any means. He's not going to make a whole lot of guys miss, but he's going to run hard. I think he can be an okay number 2, like the person said. I do think he'll be number 2. I think Bidet, I don't think his what he brings to the team is going to change. He's still going to be that third down running back. That's what you go towards. And you just kind of keep him where he's comfortable. It really is just going to have to depend on RJ Harvey getting this figured out.
Don't love it. Don't love that. One guy I did like in the, although I think he had some off-field issues, but Damian Martinez is on the Seattle Seahawks practice squad. Liked him coming out of Miami. I think that do you remember Dearness Johnson when he ran over the Broncos in that like 2001, 2002 Browns game in Cleveland? It would have been a night game. He's out there. He's kind of a bludgeoning guy. He's somebody that maybe you could think to bring in. Trey Sermon also out there. He's a name that's, kind of a bigger back. So we're going to have to find out about the Broncos pro scouts here, figuring scouting these guys, bringing somebody in. Going to have to be hitting the preseason tape that's out there. Luckily, they have a bye week to try to figure it out. I know some people have tossed out Latavius Murray, Jamal Williams, but I think you're probably more likely to find value with a younger rookie contract guy off a practice squad than the older players, especially since you have the bye week. If it was like, bringing in somebody like Latavius Murray, who's worked with Sean Payton before, knows the system, or like at least some of the language, that's one thing. But again, you have the bye week. So I'm sure they're going to be working pretty darn hard trying to figure out somebody else to bring in. Right now, I think Jaleel McLaughlin is going to be the go-to guy. I just don't think he brings enough power or tackle breaking or explosiveness element to the ground game to really complement RJ Harvey. And I don't know if Harvey can do it between the tackles consistently enough. So obviously this team is going to go as far as Bo Nix takes them at the end of the day. And if he can play like he did against the Chiefs, they got a shot against anybody. But can he do that consistently? I still wish he had a little bit more margin for error with a better rushing attack than the Broncos showed in this Chiefs game. One game, we'll see how it changes. Don't want to make out too much about one game sample, but it looks concerning without J.K. Dobbins.
And this is where I wish the Broncos had done maybe a little bit different of keeping 2 bigger between the tackles kind of guys and then 2 quicker guys and try to figure that out. Not that saying you should have kept Estime, but maybe try to find something that's a little bit more of a complement to what J.K. Dobbins brings, where Bidet, McLaughlin, Harvey, they have a lot more overlap in what they bring to the table. And I mean, they're not exactly the same running back, but there's just more overlap there than what J.K. Dobbins could do. And so you're kind of in that place now where he's had that injury history. You didn't have a great backup plan if he did get hurt. And now you're stuck in this place of, oh crap, what do we do?
Mm-hmm. Not what you wanted. I mean, everybody's probably saw it coming, unfortunately, with J.K. Dobbins' injury history, but you never know. And it's not like that could have happened to somebody with no injury before also. So it is football. I mean, things are going to happen. You want to put yourself in a position where you're not vulnerable, but again, with salary cap and the draft and everything, it's always going to be at some spots. You got to figure out how to overcome. Never going to have to overcome a uncaffeinated morning. Thanks to Patrick here. Aloha, building the Broncos. Good to see you, Patrick. Hope you're doing well out there in Hawaii. I am enjoying the sun here in Colorado, but I have two buddies in Kona right now, and I'm jealous of the beautiful Hawaiian sunset pictures they keep sending me. So, Carl, any final thoughts before we get out of here? Broncos 9-2, beat up on the Chiefs. Shout out to Vance Joseph, Bo Nix, offensive line. I mean, special teams. We'll see what happens. I mean, Patriots and the Colts. As much as things change, they stay the same. Right, with the Steelers also winning their division right now, and man, I wish we could have had another crack at the Colts. Week 2, still kind of getting things figured out. on the road. Granted, we didn't know they'd be as good as they are this season. Right. Daniel Jones maybe turning a little bit into a pumpkin, but man, I wish that game was coming up rather than in that review mirror with the bleeping leverage call.
Yeah. It's just crazy to think we could be 10-1 without that stupid penalty. I mean, it was the real deal penalty.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. By the letter of the law, that penalty could be called.
And sometimes it goes against them, and the other times you have a all-time fourth quarter comeback against the Giants. It kind of smooths out.
Yeah, it does. It does. So, but no, I can't believe that this is where we're at with this team. I mean, I know we've got like Papa Bear 13-4. We've got those eternal optimists, which are great. You got to have those kind of people in your life. And we got Keith coming in, another great guy to have around you, saying howdy, building the Broncos. Howdy to you as well, Keith. But to have us at 9-2, like you and I both would be just jumping for joy. And we got Cody W coming in and said, I'd say Elliott for running back, but that's iffy. Ezekiel Elliott, I'm guessing, is who we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing like having the big spoon cereal going crazy kind of guy coming into your locker room. But no, this team's in a great spot. Bo Nix coming off probably his best game of the year when you're really looking at the competition that he played. And the offensive line didn't have their best game. Like
pretty good in the second half. But
it was not a clean pocket for him to be moving around. And he stayed there. He was patient, worked through his progressions. Very excited to see what he can do moving forward for the final 7 games here of the year. And it's just a great time for the bye week. It's crazy that the Broncos did this without their best player. And you're getting him back after the bye. You're getting Singleton back. Atkins should be back. I'm trying to think who else is supposed to be back by then. But you're getting a few guys back. Like the Broncos are getting healthy.
Maybe Drew Sanders.
Yeah, maybe Drew Sanders. You're getting all these guys back. And the fact the Broncos are winning without them, it's just going to take this team to a whole nother level when they're on the field helping this team moving forward for the rest of these games.
Yeah. Oh, man. And just kind of looking forward here right before we get out. Colts actually do have a pretty decent schedule down the stretch here. They play at Kansas City this upcoming week. After that, Texans at Indy. That's a feisty game. You never know. Then you got the Colts at the Jags. We saw what the Chargers going down to Jacksonville happened. You have them at the Seahawks, arguably the second best team in football. DVOA says they're number 1. Then you have the Colts Monday Night Football, as it stands now. 49ers at the Colts. Week 17, you have the Colts, Jags again, and then they close out with at Houston. So that's a pretty tough schedule for Indy, all things considered, especially if Daniel Jones starts to, turn into a pumpkin again. But New England, pretty easy. At Cincinnati with no Jamar Chase. Then you have New York Jets at New England. We'll see. That's a pretty good pass rush there. Then you also have the New England Patriots. Where are they at here? Oh, they have week 14 bye. Really late bye for the Pats. Bills at Patriots week 15. Then you have Patriots at Ravens coming up after that. So 2 big games after the bye. Lucky them, I guess, for that. Then at Jets 17. And then the last game, Dolphins at Patriots. So I think we're probably going to know week 17 where things lie for these teams. So it's next few weeks really, really do matter. Did want to say hello to Keith coming in here. Appreciate you. Markel coming in from Bama. Good to see you, Markel. And a lot of fun. 9-2, not too much to complain about. Tony, is it possible that Dobbins is back to the Super Bowl? That's what's been put out there. I mean, the Liz Frank injury, we'll see. I mean, maybe it's a week earlier, but maybe it's not at all, right? Like, it's a week by week thing. I think he saw a bunch of doctors to get everything checked out. I wouldn't bank on him being back. That would be awesome. I think they better figure out something before, like, oh my gosh, we just have to hold out until the Super Bowl. You're going to have to win some freaking games before that happens. That'd be awesome. Great story, but long road to even get to the potential of thinking about that yet.
Yeah, for sure. And again, want to shout out to everyone. David T, hope everything is going well for you with getting this figured out. And just appreciate the support, guys. And it's going to be a great bye week. that's the nice thing is you get to go in on a win and just celebrate, and now get to watch the rest of the NFL and the Colts Chiefs game. Like I said, it's one of those, it's a win-win. Chiefs win. Okay, we get to move up a little bit further in the ratings or rankings and feel a little bit better in the standings of where the Broncos are at. Chiefs lose. Well, it just feels good just to see Mahomes and all of them have some struggles there. And so it's just going to be a gravy right here for the next couple weeks for us.
Yeah. Oh man. Awesome time for Broncos country. Really just enjoying the vibes right now and really happy that we could beat the Chiefs. Things are all good. I'm opposite world where they don't. And we're melting down for all these games. Oh my gosh, phonies, blah, blah, blah. Chiefs always have our number. Nope. Don't got to worry about it. Put the Chiefs, not in the cellar necessarily, but 5-5. I like it there. I like the view from up top. So I appreciate everyone coming in here. Super chats. Of course, Papa Bear, Phil, great to see you. Jamal, David T, again, shout out to you. Cody W as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Follow Carl and I on Twitter. Carl's at Carl Dumler, MHH. I'm at Kendell, MHH. Also over at Mile High Huddle. You can follow us at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle and facebook.com/Mile High Huddle pod. And as that ticker says there underneath, please subscribe, like, and share. Appreciate everybody. Leave a 5-star review, all that good stuff. Have a great rest of your week. Carl, it's always good to see you. But what are we going to talk about next week? I'm going to miss the Broncos this weekend. I'll kick my feet up. Maybe I'll go on a hike or something. Appreciate everybody. Hope you're doing well. When Bryce Hall, Carl Dumler's pet. Brees Hall? Maybe that's what's going on here. I'm not sure what's going on. Glenn, down under, what's going on? Appreciate it, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Drive safe, Jake. Have a great one. Kindness, compassion. Enjoy the bye week 9-2. First place, baby. Go Broncos.